I had a relationship with meditation and a relationship with mindfulness and a relationship with how an experience over my own life of how getting to know myself and creating a sense of home in my own body and getting to know my heart and awareness of my thoughts and emotions, what a profound and positive impact that had on my life. And how much that impacted my cycle of self thoughts and the strength of my inner critic and all those things. And I really wanted to bring that into the experience because, especially when we feel like we have the magnifying glass on us, when it's just us, we take off most or all of our clothes and there's a big ass camera right there. It is really easy for our minds to just collapse into an anxious mess.
Hi, I'm Leslie Silverman, and I thrive on deep, honest conversations with entrepreneurs about how we show up as the truest version of ourselves, both personally and professionally. Because when we let our light shine, we give others permission to do the same. This is a category of one. Gabby Jockers of Embodied Art Boudoir helps women move from self-doubt to embodied confidence through a deeply guided boudoir experience rooted in intention, embodiment, personalized support, and artistic expression. Embodied Art Boudoir is a body-positive studio that infuses mindfulness into the photography experience. By bringing intention setting, guided meditation, breath work, body connection, and acceptance, Gabby helps women get out of their heads and into their bodies. This is more than just a sexy photo shoot. This is a full day transformational experience where women are cared for, celebrated, and guided to authentic self-expression. Her work is to guide women back to themselves so they can discover true confidence rooted in self-love and body appreciation. I know that you will really enjoy my conversation with Gabby. As I mentioned in my intro, we have Gabby from Embodied Art Boudoir here with us today. Hi, Gabby.
Hey, Leslie. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you.
Thank you.
What I really want to jump into right out of the gate is, first of all, for listeners who might not know what boudoir photography is, number one, I've been told by some listeners, sometimes I say things just assuming everybody knows what that is. And so let's define that. And then we're going to talk about how the way you approach boudoir is so unique and special and different than other boudoir photographers.
Well, I think those are two great questions to answer together because whenever I answer the first, I always answer the second. And that's a really good point that, as a boudoir photographer, I've talked to a lot of people. I've introduced myself. What do you do? I do boudoir. And there's a lot of people who've never heard of it before. So it's great to kind of define that. And I think that there's like the boudoir industry, what the service is overall, and then there's what I do. And overall, most people think of boudoir photography as like sexy photo shoot for women, right? So it's classically, traditionally been a woman does this photo shoot for her husband before their wedding day as like a wedding gift or maybe on an anniversary. And, we can open up a can of worms here about how a woman feels like she can only do something like this when it's for somebody else. But I'll leave that one for now. And instead I'll focus on what's the whole point of this photo shoot? And if you go online and Google boudoir photographer, you'll find a lot of websites that talk about you're going to feel sexy, you're going to feel confident, you're going to feel beautiful. And don't get me wrong, I love all of those things. And I love it when my clients feel those things. But I think there's the boudoir industry says you should feel this way. And my approach is more about how do you need to feel good in your own body and to feel good in your own skin. And how about let's focus the experience on that instead of it being focused on my agenda. Like I do this to make women feel sexy. But what if a woman doesn't need to feel sexy right now? Like what if she needs to feel safe? Or what if she needs to feel like she's not at war with her body anymore? Or what if she needs to feel finally like relaxed? Or what if she needs to feel grief about something scary that just happened or something scary that's on the horizon? So, my approach, it goes way beyond just a sexy photo shoot, and I try to create an experience where women can get really clear about what they need, what's in between them and feeling at home in their bodies, what they need to get there, what that means for them, help them get embodied because most of our problems come from thinking about things and our brains and our minds and these repeat messages and inner critic stuff that kind of takes us down little by little every single day. So getting embodied helps, and I do that through meditation and other things. Getting embodied helps quiet that inner critic so that we can actually have our experience. And then guiding them through a process that's really focused on their intention and helping them see and feel what they want to see and feel. And then showcasing that in a beautiful form of art that really takes them out of their own heads, out of their own lenses, and really allows themselves to get out of their own way and to see that they already have all those things that they've been wanting all along.
Mm, that's so beautiful. And I think, well, you recently did a rebrand, but I think the name of your company is so clear, especially the way you just described it. It's so spot on. It's embodied art boudoir. And your tagline is you are a masterpiece. And it's about celebrating each one of us, not only physically, but emotionally and in entirety, because I talk about that here too a lot, how we can't separate who we are personally and professionally, or our mind from our body. Or I was talking to somebody yesterday about therapy that isn't just talk therapy, but has the somatic component of what's happening in our body. And so I would imagine that it's cathartic and therapeutic and loving and a beautiful gift for yourself to do
Yes.
a boudoir session with you. And that's cute. Not to denigrate people who do it as a gift for their partner. And that's cute. But first and foremost, to do it for yourself, for the gifts that it brings. We put ourselves last sometimes as women in particular. And just to give yourself that gift, or even the positive self-talk, is such an important phase. So I love how you said you do meditation and you really help your client get into the vibe that they personally want so that they're more relaxed for the experience.
Yeah. And um, what you just mentioned, I think it's really helpful to point out too that, yeah, it's not about saying you have to do it for yourself. It's not, you're not something or other if you do it for a man or if you do it for your partner or whatever. Because I've had women clients who are in relationships with other women as well. So it's not necessarily about like the gender of the partner or anything like that. But even with those clients who come in of like, this is my wedding gift and I finally feel like I can do this, I'm not here to tell them, girl, you could have been able to do this all along. I'm here to be like, I'm here to create the experience where we're sitting on the sofa after I just showed them their images and they turn to me with tears in their eyes and they're like, I thought I was just getting a gift for them. Like, I did not realize this would be such a gift for myself. So I'm here like, hey, if you feel like you need the justification of the love of your life to do this for yourself, cool, come in and I'm going to help you see that it's so much more than that.
So beautiful, and so aligned just with you and how you carry yourself in the world and the energy that you put out as just a secure, embodied, you have a very embodied energy. So
Thank you.
it feels logical. Tell me a little bit about your origin story, how this came to be. Did you set out to do boudoir? Were you a headshot photographer first and then it evolved into this? How did your company come to be in the shape that it is now?
That's a good question. And I'll also answer your other question about the embodiment piece as part of this, because they are very tied together. So, back in 2019, I quit my job and decided it was finally time to start my own business. I've always wanted to. Um, and so I did that, and I spent the fall writing a business plan and creating my marketing launch and all this stuff I was going to be doing. Um, Wedding photography and couples elopements here in the mountains in Colorado. And then I was getting ready to launch. I had gotten a bunch of initial interactions and sessions scheduled with people. And then COVID shut the world down and basically destroyed my business when I launched it. And though it was pretty horrific, it was a blessing in disguise because it forced me, like how it gave me the space I needed, which was like that whole year, basically 2020. After I got past the whole woe is me part, it gave me the space to realize I should not be doing wedding, elopement, engagement photography. Like I realized way too late. I was like, do I really want to work every single weekend for the rest of my life? Do I really want to wake up at 2 a.m. to drive up to the mountains for a sunrise photo shoot? No, I don't. I don't actually want to do those things.
I do not.
Do not. But I didn't realize that right away. And, what would have happened if I had had a really successful launch and then become an established wedding photographer and then realized I hated it. So even though it was rough, it ended up being a blessing in disguise. And it was through the urging of a friend that year who had done a boudoir photo shoot for her wedding, that she was like, you'd be so good at this, Gabby. You'd be so good at it. And I'm like, I don't even know what boudoir is because I didn't know at the beginning. But she kept on pushing because she saw something in me that she thought would be really good for this, and she was totally right. I'm very good at it. I'm not even gonna pretend to be humble. I'm very good.
Good.
And when I first decided, fine, I'm gonna explore this, I put this just like a random marketing kind of call out there in a couple Facebook groups, and I booked 11 clients right away, which was astounding. So I was like, all right, let's go with this, and let's explore. And at first I just did boudoir the cookie cutter way. I was brand new, so I went online, I found some photographers. I was like, oh, let me use a shot list, let me talk about it the same way everybody else talks about it, because I don't know, I'm just getting started. And I had such a connection, such a spark with the practice. I loved, I even with very little of the intention that now goes into my service, even with very little of that, and just kind of slapping something together just to get started, like a beta test kind of situation, I was able to really impact the way that women saw themselves, the way that my clients perceived themselves. And it seemed so profound. And I also just really enjoyed doing it. I was like, I'm really good at this. Like, people feel comfortable around me. Like, they feel like they can relax, and they tell me that. There's a lot of fun, interacting with people. I'm an extrovert, so I'm cool with that. I had a great time. And so after that initial kind of explosion and discovery, things got slow from there because I was like, let me build this right. So I spent a lot of time thinking. I have a degree in business from the university that I went to. So unlike many photographers, I feel like I had a little bit of an edge where it's like I kind of know a little bit about, business strategy and marketing strategy and a little bit of the big picture stuff more than many entrepreneurs who kind of go with a skill or a craft and they run with it and they build a business around it. Props to them. It's even more of a hill to climb. That takes guts and dedication. And so I knew from the beginning it's important to focus on strategy and differentiation and that kind of stuff. So I just asked myself, what do I do different? What are the things that annoyed me about the industry, first of all? And some of the big ones included what I mentioned before about it's always our agenda, the photographer's agenda on the client. Like, what about what they want, right? Like, are we just going to assume we know what everybody wants without asking? It doesn't make sense. Another was the complete lack of diversity shown in the industry. So many women who aren't the young, white, slim, fit, blonde or brunette, blowout, smoky eye kind of gal. A lot of those women felt, I don't see any woman who looked like me. I don't feel like this art is for me. I don't feel like my body will be celebrated here because I don't have this kind of like Cosmo magazine sort of body, right? Like I'm not 23 and 110 pounds with like a 32 double D. Like most women don't look like what you see on most photographers' website, which sounds kind of like some sort of a mind scramble. And it didn't make sense to me, and it also pissed me off. I was like, this ain't right, guys. You cannot say that you're here to empower women if you're only here to empower like 2% of women. Or I don't like obviously I made up that number, but like
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
I do. And that just defeats the whole purpose of this empowering experience because instead of celebrating your own unique you-ness, it's saying already making you feel bad that you don't fit in the traditional box. So from
Yes,
the
and then
get-go,
editing
you were
them.
like, I'm not perpetuating this.
Exactly. And then that falls in line with also like the approach to editing that like this industry standard is a magazine level edit. And it's like, I'm sorry, but like looking at a picture of me with no lumps, no stretch marks, no wrinkles, no skin texture, like a fake poreless doll on the cover of Vogue magazine, like how is that empowering? Like I'm always going to look at it and always fall short. And it's a picture of me because you've edited it out. Like you've given me a fake hourglass waist. You've given my butt is even bigger. My arms are skinnier. Like that's not me anymore. So how is this supposed to be empowering? So there was a lot of this empowering language that gets thrown around that I was just like, none of this feels empowering. So how can I do things that are not like I'm not sitting here saying empowering, empowering, empowering. My clients say empowering more than I do. Go look at my website for the word empowering. I will time yourself. It's gonna be a while before you can find it. Like I don't know, maybe in an old blog post or something, but it's
Yeah.
like I'm not here to just like empowering because it's a buzzword. So there was that, but then there was also the element of I I did a yoga teacher training, what, like maybe over a decade ago at this point. And since then, yoga has been a big part of my life, not just, like going to yoga class and doing stretches and workouts and stuff. I almost never do that anymore. But the side of yoga that's more of like a spiritual and mental practice, and also an embodiment practice. And that's like what is yoga is a whole can of worms. But I had a relationship with meditation and a relationship with mindfulness and a relationship with how an experience over my own life of how getting to know myself and creating a sense of home in my own body and getting to know my heart and awareness of my thoughts and emotions, what a profound and positive impact that had on my life. And how much that impacted my cycle of self thoughts and the strength of my inner critic and all those things. And I really wanted to bring that into the experience because, especially when we feel like we have the magnifying glass on us, when it's just us, we take off most or all of our clothes and there's a big ass camera right there. It is really easy for our minds to just collapse into an anxious mess while doing it. And then as they look at their photos, it brings them back into that moment where they felt really good in their skin, where they felt gorgeous and confident and sexy. Yeah, all those words I said before, they're feeling all those things. But they're not, it's not just we see it and you look sexy. It's like, oh my God, I felt so sexy at that moment. Like I felt like fire. And then I look at it and I see it and I'm like, oh my God, Like, is that really me?
Yeah, like taking the time to tap in and feel those emotions that you're craving from the experience on the inside
Yes.
then helps them glow, shine, come through on the outside beyond just wearing lingerie. It's
That's precisely it.
actually because you've tapped into something deeper. And I think it's really evident from the way you present on your website, your brand. You have so many cool resources and tools, and people can do different quizzes to figure out their vibe and their style. So there's a lot they can do just to dip their toe into your world, even if they're not 100% ready to book their session right away. One really cool, okay, well, two things. The first thing, so many things I want to talk to you about. I noticed that you have a really cool thing called the body deck on your website that is cards that are affirmation cards for positive body affirmation. And so I'll let you answer that before I roll into the next thing that was popping in my head.
Yeah, and that was a really fun project that I co-created with my childhood best friend. We're still best friends. I know I'm lucky. And at the time, she was working as a dietitian at an eating disorder clinic. So we had these two very related but different lens on body image and experiences as professionals working with women around their body image. And we both had utilized and really found value in, different mindset practices and different types of mindset work. Um, and yet also like that embodiment side of things. So we wanted to create a deck that could address, that body image mindset, but with a lot more nuance than what we were seeing out there, which is like, a simple deck that says, I am beautiful, I am sexy, I am confident, I'm a badass and stuff. And it's like, yeah, those things are awesome. But they never resonated with me. They all just feel very kind of cheesy and surface level. And I was like, I don't know. And then just to say, like, I am sexy, I'm beautiful all the time. It's like, but what if we don't feel that way all the time? Right? Like, even as even with the work that I do, I don't feel 100% amazing about 100% of my body 100% of the time. Like, I have my own doubts and my own issues, just like anybody else. And the areas that, though they're a lot quieter for me now than they were, 2, 5, 10 years ago. And so we wanted to make something that could have a little bit more nuance. And the affirmations, actually, it took us like 6 months to write them, because we poured our hearts and souls and everything that we had learned and integrated for ourselves into them. And they have a lens of, there's a lot of body neutrality in there, and not just body positivity. And for those who don't know, body positivity is kind of like in the camp of like, I love everything about my body. I feel amazing about my body. And while that's a wonderful goal and something worth striving towards, it's really far off for most women. And it seems more like an impossible goal for a lot of people. And that's why, both me and my friend Melissa really love body neutrality, which is more about shifting our attention around our body and how we feel about our body from how does it look to how does it enable me to be in relationship with the people I love, to do the work that I care about, to do the activities that I find enjoyable, to help me live my life on a day-to-day basis and get more out of it. So rather than, body body positivity might say, I love everything. I love every wrinkle. I love every cellulite. I love every stretch mark. But a lot of people are not there.
Right.
Even I'm not
We're
there.
like, hey, maybe I wish my triceps were tighter, but these are the arms that hug my loved ones. How
Exactly.
lucky am I to be a human who loves others that I get to wrap my arms around?
Exactly.
They're not
That's exactly it.
perfect, and there's things about them that perhaps surface level I wish looked different. I get to hug the people I love.
That's exactly it. So we wanted to bring that into the deck, to give more space for people who are like, this isn't a deck for people who figured it all out. And this isn't necessarily like a, maybe if I lie to myself about loving myself, then I'll start loving myself.
Make it till you make it.
Yes, I
No.
know. Maybe fake it till you make it, but like one step ahead of where you are, not 10 steps ahead of where
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Right. So we created the body deck. My friend is a creative powerhouse, and she did all the graphic design for it. We wrote the affirmations together. We used a lot of my photographs, from different subjects that I've photographed over the years in the boudoir context. And we made this beautiful deck that has a lot of what we believe in it, and we sold out. So, I've been considering bringing it back. I have a wait list on my website. So if anyone's curious, I don't think I'm going to bring it back unless there's like signups on the wait list and people are like, oh, I would definitely be interested in this because otherwise I have to store it. I have to make a big order. We ordered like 250. It took like a year to sell them, which is fine, but it's it takes up space. It's time. I want to make sure it's wanted. But right now I've transformed it into like a custom artwork product for my clients. So I actually have one that I'm working on right now from a client. Her session was a week and a half ago, and clients can order it, and basically you can get the body deck but with your images from your photo shoot in them to bring you back to that embodied place. So if you feel that embodied like peace with yourself, and then you read an affirmation, it's like how you mentioned earlier, like somatic therapies and that kind of stuff, the importance of bridging the gap between body and mind, because we can't always make those mental changes on the mental level. Sometimes those mental changes we need to go beyond the mental level to make them. So that's kind of the intention of this custom version of the body deck that clients can order to help them get back to that embodied place from the photo shoot and change their mindset from a place of connection to themselves versus a place of shame or guilt or like forcing.
Oh, that's yes, yes. I love that. I love that. I love that so, so much. So, body deck, check it out. We're going to link Gabby's website in the show notes. And if you're curious, you can go look at that. So, on a personal level, something you and I talked about off air that I think is a really incredible conversation to share with listeners. We had a wonderful conversation around, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, around hustle versus taking breaks and being intentional, and around abundance and wealth being about so much more than just money in the bank. Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
always working and you're never slowing down, you lose the passion. And you talked about how much your work lights you up and how much you love it. And we had discussed, for me, it was maybe going for a hike in the middle of the day. And you had said you almost cut back how many sessions you were booking, and you found yourself having the energy to do other artistic creative projects outside of the photography that then gave you more passion for the actual work. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, let me see. How should I approach this? I think that I mean, it kind of goes back to like when I was doing those like elopement photography. I kind of realized, I was like, man, hiking is my hobby. Do I really want to turn hiking into my work? And I know a lot of people would be like, hell yeah, I get to be paid for what I love. And I'm like, I kind of want to do what I love without attaching the need to earn to it, right? Because I think in our culture, we have been taught that our worth is very much determined upon our production, and that can be measured in different ways. For people who are in the workforce, that may be how much money you earn, or how much impact you have or something along those lines. And for people who aren't in the workforce but they do caretaking, it's about how well do you keep the space clean, how perfect of a whatever, a mom or whatever are you. So we have like this output associated with we have to prove our worth, right? And it's hard to talk to people through my marketing with my clients one-on-one about the importance of being at home and who we are, and then not take that seriously personally. So it's like a practice what you preach kind of situation. And I think it applies to more than just body image, because I talk to my clients about, because like our body image affects more than just our body image. It affects how we show up in our day-to-day life, or how we choose to not show up, and if we feel like we can do that without guilt. And so part of my own personal journey is that unpacking of, do I feel like I need to prove myself by booking more, earning more, etc.? And it's like, yeah, I love what I do, I get to make a positive impact on people's lives, but is that all I am defined by? Or am I allowed to exist in this world outside of the context of how I serve others? And I think it's kind of like a controversial take, let's be of service. And especially for women, we've been socialized largely to be of service to others. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I mean, providing amazing service is something I absolutely love about what I do. And it's something I'm very proud at because I'm very good at it. But to provide that level of service, I also have to be well resourced. I have to be well rested, and I have to have the energy to give. And I can't do that if I'm always giving and never, recouping, never playing, never creating things that are not for outside consumption, never creating for myself, never taking time for myself. That's a recipe for burnout. And good luck being of service when you're burned out. It's very difficult.
Yeah, and just taking that time for whatever we feel, not because it's on the list or I'm supposed to, or I have to exercise, or I have to meal prep, or I have to just even permission to do nothing, even permission to pass an afternoon reading a novel on the deck in the sun, or do something creative just because it to your point, it feels fun, especially in creative industries where that is our work product. How can we just do something creative just for the sake of it because it nourishes our soul or it feels aligned in that moment? And giving ourselves permission to do that more and more was part of our conversation. And I don't know if it's people are shifting or if I'm just starting to attract people who share my energetic vibration, because I feel like I'm having this conversation more with predominantly women and entrepreneurs who are coming to these realizations. And
Yeah. I think it's a little column A, a little column B. I think there's definitely some changes in the world. And I think that as we make those changes within ourselves, we gravitate and others gravitate toward us, people with shared values, right? So I think it's a little bit of both. And, to what you mentioned, it's like we have to, just like our thoughts around our bodies, when it comes to our thoughts about our worth and our productivity and our work, we have to question like where these standards are coming from. Um, and I think as far as like bodies go, the standards are coming from a lot of different industries that want to sell us stuff, that want to, especially women, keep us shrunken, keep us docile, keep us obedient. And I think when it comes to our work and productivity, there's a lot of messages out there that, to all people that say, what you are worth depends on what you bring home with you. And we have to question as individuals, like, is that truly what I believe for myself? And just because that's the way that I've been told to live, does that mean that's how I want to live? Is that going to bring me peace and happiness and joy in my life? And it, you could do the classic exercise of like, when I'm on my deathbed, what am I going to remember? Am I going to remember regrets from like work? Am I going to think, oh man, I wish I closed another client in October of 2025? Man, if I could have just gotten that booking, I would have felt so much more fulfilled now. No, like we're thinking about, like, if we're having regrets, it's like, oh man, I wish I spent more time with my family. Or if we're having joys, what are we thinking about? We're thinking about the time we did spend with our loved ones, the adventures we had, the yummy things we enjoyed eating and drinking. Like we remember the moments of life when we actually lived, like, for the sake of it. So that's what I want to, like, stay top of mind. And it is really hard. It's really, really hard to go against the flow in this way, to go against the grain in this way, because you have to be your own, like, enforcer. You have to constantly be checking in with yourself and saying, is this, like, you have to figure out, what are your values? Are you going to value the traditional, in our case, we both live in America, and some of the traditional American values are like individualism and like rugged self, doing shit. I can't remember the word for it right now.
Productivity.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like, are those our values? Or are our values something else? And that's a difficult exercise. And then when you identify your values, to stick with them, to make all your decisions and your choices through the filter of those values, to create your strategy through the filter of those values, to build your business and your schedule through the filter of those values. It's challenging, but it's worth it.
It is worth it. And I think part of my goal and passion for the conversations I'm having on the podcast is really that you are a category of one. We all are. And the way that we personify ourselves through our own views, and only we can touch in with our own intuition. We have to trust ourselves and know what's right for us, and not what we think that we are supposed to do. And that has transcended from personal to professional, especially as entrepreneurs. We can't separate who we are personally from who we are in our business. And when we give ourselves that permission, and when we come from that place, then we empower others to be able to do the same. And you are such a beautiful example of that, and someone who inspires me every time that we spend time together. So thank you for coming on and being open and vulnerable and sharing all of your beautiful points of view with our listeners. And I'm so excited to continue to watch how you evolve and just embody who you are every day. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Leslie. The feeling is completely mutual. I'm so grateful to see you as a fellow business owner, to see the way that you have really connected to your values and lived your life from it and gone through that process of learning and discovering. I think you're leading by example in such a powerful way. And now you're creating a platform to share those stories and to help inspire others. And I think that's just beautiful and wonderful. And I am here for it.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Thanks for coming. This has been a Category of One podcast. If this resonated with you, please share, subscribe, or leave a review. I appreciate you.